Good afternoon. It's time to get started. Hello there, Lily. I think you've already headed out, but welcome. Thank you. You are the first of the new year and the first boozinate of the new year as well. Very much appreciated. Thank you. All right, let's see. I don't know how many people are gonna be here today because of New Year's hangovers and all that, but we're gonna have some fun with the first stream of the year. Let's take down the starting soon screen here. There we go. And jump right back in. I've done a lot of work between last stream and this on my OBS setup and some other secret behind the scenes stuff, but I haven't even launched Kerbal Space Program since last week. It's been a busy one. So we are right where we left off, which is we had just rescued Santa Kerman. We had made a spare sleigh with expendable reindeer fuel tanks, and we rescued Santa Kerman, which was a redeem from Elric, our good friend Elric the Troll King, and it went real well. It was a whole lot of fun. We even had a little wager on whether or not Santa would survive Reentry on Kerman, and he did. He survived. We didn't have the Delta V to get him to the North Pole, though, so I hope Christmas was not ruined for all the little Kerbals. But yeah, that means we do need to let some time run before we do our next launch. Let's see, next alarm on the list. Let's take stock of our situation here. Next alarm on the list is our Joule probe periapsis. That'll be a periapsis around the sun. We're going to check in on it and see how it's doing trajectory-wise, what course corrections we need. And that's coming up in 47 days. Let's see. If we look at our alarm list, then we have coming up a Moho launch window, an Eve launch window. Do we have all of our launch windows on here? So let's go from inner planets to outer planets. So we have Moho, we have Eve, we have Duna, we have Durez. Yep, that one's in 2.5 years from now. We have Joule, I think I saw. Yeah, there's Joule. And then we also have... do we have Elu? Yes, Elu is coming up, actually. But more exciting than those, we have some correction birds coming up, and some arrivals. And maybe a Val and Bob Kerbin return, maybe. We blew past one of those because of time warp calculations and such, so that was a whole thing. But let's look at our messages here. Contract complete. That's right, we rescued Silvery Sky Kerman. We can close that one. We rescued P42 Wallaby Way Sydney Kerman. We rescued Kirby-Anna Jones. We rescued Santa. Save Christmas is complete. I need a screenshot of this. I should have taken a screenshot of this last week, but yep, there it is, a screenshot. Yep, Santa Kerman is now part of the space program crew. Oh, right, and we did land the booster, but it also toppled. So we actually got a fair amount of our money back. More than honestly I think we should have, but it factored in which parts were broken and destroyed and which ones weren't. So yeah, we recovered the booster mostly. Yeah. Well done, Santa Kerman has been recovered in one piece and is now enjoying a thorough debriefing from the comfort of his quarantine cell. Beautiful. Let's see, what else do we have though? We have other stuff. Active, we still need to rescue Uma Kerman and Uranus Kerman. So those are two rescues that are still in progress, as well as Raylan Kerman. Let's see, we need to get some science data from the surface of the moon. We can do that. We're passively mapping asteroids. We finished the one that was looking for more comets. We need science data from space around Moho, and this is a long-term one we're not going to do yet, where we need to land on Eve and return. Uh-huh. We'd like to bring a vessel back to Kerbin from the surface of Eve. At least one scientist assures us that we won't bring back any harmful contaminants. That's reassuring. So let's see, is there anything interesting offered? We've pretty much blown through anything that the base game has that's interesting. Complete the Joule 3 course. Fly by Ike, Eve, and Joule. That's, I mean, it pays a lot, but we don't need that. It's that's just silliness. We can adjust the position of ScanSat Supreme. It's where we want it, though, is the thing. Recoveries, rescues, blah blah. Science data from the surface of Eve. Tempting. Bring Duna Ejecta back with you. That's a surface sample, basically, a specific one. So we found the little geological features on the moon and on Minmus, but other planets have those as well. So detect 3 comets. Okay, this is another passive one. We might as well always have one of these running. Why not? Expand surface outpost, SMRT outpost on Minmus. What do they want? Let's see. Currently landed. Currently okay, but they want. They want us to expand it to support at least 31 Kerbals. And add more liquid fuel, of course. And processing lab. Yeah, we're not going to worry about that. I'd rather put a permanent base on the moon than expand the Minmus one. The Minmus one serves our purposes. It does offer a decent amount of science, though. Gurhulk, welcome. Never watched KSP stuff, but there's no other content that interests me right now, so hello. Oh, well, thank you. How are you doing, Gurhulk? Welcome. I'm anticipating a quiet New Year's. Everyone's off having their celebrating and sleeping it off. My plan today was actually to be playing some more board games with my my brother and his family right now, and then do an evening stream. But they got snowed in at their Airbnb and are currently waiting for the snowplows to go by, and then they're just gonna drive home. So at least we got to play some games last night, so that was fun. But yeah, welcome to Kerbal Space Program. We last week for Christmas Eve we rescued a Kerbal that was named by a viewer Santa Kerman. So we saved Kerbal Christmas last week. This week we're looking at our current missions that are in progress. I've got a list right here of upcoming events. A lot of these are good opportunities to launch to different planets. A lot of them are course corrections for missions in progress, and some of them are arrivals. So our next big deal is a probe that we have going to a planet called Joule, and we need to check in on it and see what its course looks like. You've had almost 0 snow here. Yeah, we're getting slammed. It's still coming down, and the projections are that it'll keep coming down for 2 more days. So that's the whole thing. All right, so let's we have a self-imposed rule. Technically, we could launch unlimited times. We can just immediately after a launch go back to the launch pad and launch, but I like to let a couple of weeks pass between launches at least. That way we make sure we're moving the clock forward, and it kind of is a better simulation of you know, the time it would take to build a rocket, refurbish the pad, etc. You played KSP, but just messing around in Sandbox. Ah, gotcha. Very cool. Let's look at the research. We're actually getting into the late game in this playthrough, just in time. In about 2 months, Kerbal Space Program 2 will be out, and I'm excited about that. But what I want to unlock next, which one is it? Yes, it's Advanced Science Tech. So we've been sending some scanning sats to other planets. We have a lightly modded install here where we have the ScanSat mod. So we've been making maps of some planets and finding resources, and I would like to, in the not too distant future, send some of these drilling and refining units and make fuel depots on other planets. And the end game goal is to have a ship that can carry the entire crew that we have, which is considerably large, and take them on a tour of the entire solar system. Pete Venkman, first but not really. Nice. Welcome, Pete Venkman. How are you doing today? All right, so this is our next big goal, is to get this. We have other ones that we want, but that is the big deal right there. Yeah, we recently got this one here because we wanted some big satellite dishes because we were losing contact with our deep space probes, and it was not a good time. All right, so let's take a look at the tracking station 2. Like I'd mentioned before people started coming in, I have not even launched this game since last week. It's been busy. All right, that is an orbit for a contract that I bet that's where they want us to put the ScanSat Supreme, isn't it? Yeah, we're not going to. We like it where it is. But let's take a look. There's still a lot of space junk that I'd like to clean up. But Kefri Bezos is out of return pods, so he can't do his community service right now. So we're going to have to fix that at some point soon. We have a lot of relay satellites because we still have our old obsolete ones in orbit, even though we've sent new ones out. One thing that we could do is send something to match Kerbin's orbit, but on the other side. That would be incredibly useful. Like if we could have a very hefty communications relay satellite. We already have Kerbin, that counts, but we could have one here, here, and here. That would be very, very helpful in maintaining communications with deep space probes. We've sent one out towards Dres. It's on its way. Yeah, this is the one right here. It's on its way to Dres. Do we know when it will arrive? The correction burn is in 91 days. So, Satan, welcome. Happy New Year to you as well, Satan. How are you doing today? And we have one. Do we have one also headed anywhere else? I think that's the only one we have headed to deep space. Although this one might be A1. We'll have to check in on it. So, the biggest deal is we need to collect some science. The last time we collected some science, we sent someone to Minmus, to biomes we hadn't been to before, and I think we should do that again. Saint says, just woke up, working on my base on Vault Hunters. Oh, nice. Is it on the server that Shipwreck has set up, or is this in your single player world? What is this? That's something. What have we got there? Aha. ScanSat Supreme. Okay. Oh, you know what this is? That's interesting. I've never actually noticed that. Okay, so this brown orbit here is an orbit that has been proposed to us by a space agency, and they've offered us a contract. And this here, it's highlighting it, but it's not rendered because I have it filtered up here. But that's the satellite in question. So what this wants us to do is take ScanSat Supreme and move it to this orbit. But why? There's no advantage of that orbit over the one we have now. It's literally just changing the inclination a little bit, but it's still a polar orbit. It's going to end up in that orbit at some point anyway. Huh. Single player world. Testing out something I want to do on ship server. Ooh, cool. Very nice. So, why are they even doing that? Yeah, the vanilla contracts in this game are, they're questionable. But yeah, let's go to the science, the research facility. I think we can get a list of contracts that science that we've collected and science that we still need. And let's see if we can plan another scientifical mission, because that was very lucrative. I think we got something like 800 science. Okay, so archives, and if we go to Minmus, EVA reports. Surface sample from Minmus poles. Okay. We could also set up a science station. That's a thing. Where's another surface sample that we've completed? So we can get an idea for what that is going to be worth. Okay, here's a surface sample from the Midlands, the Lowlands. Okay, so that would be worth 150 total. Interesting. Ooh, surface deployed mystery goo from Minmus surface. Okay, that's not biome dependent though. Interesting. Okay, so sending that one to the poles won't help at all. What about on the moon? The multiplier on the moon is not nearly as much, but there's still science to be got. And yes, I grammared like that on purpose. Let's see, recovery of a vessel, seismic scan. Seismic scan is worth a decent amount. Mystery goo observations, moonstone analysis. We've already got the maximum out of that. Materials study in space from the moon's far side crater. Interesting. Okay, I don't think we've been to the moon's poles though. But the other thing is, it's a whole lot simpler and easier to land on Minmus. So I think we want to do that. But we've been to Minmus poles. Greater Flats, Midlands, poles. How many biomes does Minmus have? Okay, surface sample from Minmus poles. Did we collect one of those and just not return it yet? That's a good question. Let's take a look. Let's go to our let's go to the space station, because I can't recall off the top of my head which scientist did that. So let's go to Arcadia Station. Let's fly it. And let's see who is on board and what scientific experiments we have, because we might just send some surface deployable science. That's a lot of words that start with S. There we go. Okay, so we have aboard. We have Bo Kerman, Philip Brewer, Issa Kerman, Dan Bear Derp Kerman, Raider Kerman. Most of these are named by viewers. Optimus Prime, Tizon, Alpin, Eric Uspensky, Bowsy, Pee-wee Kerman, Munchie Kerman, Uma Kerman. Ah, that's right. We have saved her. We just haven't returned her. That's a good point. We do need some return pods, and we also need some RCS fuel. So that's worth doing. But we can return more than one. Let's see. We've got Uma Kerman. Does she have... She is an engineer. Who's our scientist? Do we have a scientist aboard? Engineer, pilot, scientist. We have Bo. Bo is the only scientist currently aboard. And I'm not sure where she is. That's Optimus Prime. There's Bo. Okay. But yeah, there's no scientific data aboard right now. Okay, so I think we have our plan. What we need to do is go to... we need to go to Minmus. We need to deploy some scientific experiments. And then we need to come back here and return Uma to Kerbal. To Kerbal. Let's see. And Satan says, did you see Kerbal Space Program is free on the Epic Games Store soon? I did see that. Now, it's the Epic Games Store, though. Personally, I would rather pay for it on Steam than get it free there. But if anyone is unsure whether they would enjoy Kerbal Space Program or not, it is free on the Epic Games Store, and there's nothing wrong with getting it for free. So that's pretty fantastic, yes. And we're less than 2 months away from the release of the early access for Kerbal Space Program 2, so expect that at the end of February. That's going to be coming to this channel for sure. I think that's a Friday, the 24th of February, that it's going to be released, which means the next day we might have a Kerbal Space Program 2 Saturday in space. Okay, we're doing well on fuel. We need this though. All right, let's do that. Let's go to the Space Center. Let's let 2 weeks pass and let's launch a crew capsule, and let's keep it empty. Let's launch an empty crew capsule, and we will pick up Bo Kerman, the scientist. We will take scientific experiments to the surface of Minmus, and we will also be bringing some RCS fuel, some monopropellant. So first off, okay, so it says 47 days to this alarm, so we need to move time forward until that is what, 33 days, I think. That's 2 weeks. So let's do warp to sunrise. Actually, let's add a manual alarm. Time to alarm, we want 14 days. And I don't need to name it. There we go. And let's just, epilepsy alert, if you are sensitive to flashing lights, close your eyes. Here we go, warp to next. Yum, 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 yum. There we go. All right, it's been long enough. We've cleaned up the pad. Whatever mission we're planning right now is ready to be built, etc., and we can wheel it out to the pad. So we're good to go. All right, delete and close. There we go. Let's go to the vehicle assembly building and let's build our mission. And the important things to remember are an empty capsule that will be commanded by a drone, RCS fuel, and scientific experiments. So let's see. Let's open up our existing capsule. Crew transporter, that's the one. Okay, let's take the crew out. These guys are eager to fly, but it's not their turn. Wait your turn. And let's take the launcher off. There we go. We've got our empty capsule right here. We also need... should we put it on the nose? I think we should. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's copy that. And let's do, under fuel tanks, we want some of these big RCS tanks. Although that's ugly if we just put it on like that. So under structural, we've got these adapters. That's the small one. I always get the wrong one first. There we go. That's the one. Like that. And if we put 4 of those on, and then put this on top like so, and then we need another docking port. That's under coupling, Clampotron docking port, and put that right there. Let's put some lights on this as well. Let's see, dome lights are good, and let's put 4 on each side like so. And like so. Let's also, I mean, we've got all this RCS fuel. We might as well put some thrusters on this thing so that it will help us maneuver it into place. And that there should be good. Now we need to make sure that our booster can still take this where we want it to go, and we do need to adjust the fairing. And it doesn't like that because we've made this thing a little bit wider, so we're gonna start down here. Is it because of this? It might be because of this tower. All right. Let's test that theory. Build fairing. Yep, it's because of that tower, I think. There we go. And put that back. That's our camera tower. Although it's not tall enough anymore. Look at that big fairing. Okay, let's pull this off and do that because I really like this camera view. It's fun. All right, so let's double check our staging. Our staging looks good. We have a decent amount of delta V, but not as much as I'd like, especially our thrust to weight ratio off the pad is now terrible. So we're going to add some boosters. Over to coupling, we want our radial decouplers. We'll just put 1 on for now, and then we'll mirror it. And then we want engines. We want probably the thumper. There we go. Zoom in and let's shift that downwards like so, and put an aerodynamic nose cone on the front. That one there is great. And now if we pick this up and add symmetry, There we go. Okay, so this stage needs to go back to the bottom, and these need to be added to it. All right, now we have a good thrust to weight ratio off the pad, 1.75. I like to aim for about 1.8. I think the Saturn V, if I recall, had about a 1.8, 1.85. But that gets us off the pad nice and quick. That adds about 300 meters per second delta V as well, total. So I think we should be fine with this. All right, and that is, yeah, this will get us to the station, no problem. And then we're going to use our main spacecraft, the PORC, the Personnel Orbital Rescue Craft, to take our scientist to Minmus, and potentially to rescue people on the way back. And then this right here, this command pod is going to be our return capsule to bring them back safely, hopefully, to Kerbal. All right, and let's see, crew transporter plus RCS refuel. There we go. We're going to name this variant that. All right, is that engine going to clip the camera? Maybe. So just for safety's sake, come on. There we go. Local control. There we go. Let's just shift the camera tower backwards a little bit and save again. All right, let's roll this out to the pad and let's... Oh, we don't have our scientific experiments on board. All right. I'm glad we thought of that. What should we do for that? We've got some space in here, not a lot. Let's pin that. Let's go to science, and we want surface deployable science. Those are telescope parts. Is it not in this category? It is not, is it? Is it under cargo? It is. Okay, we have some new stuff actually. We have, okay, the experiment control station is familiar, but we also have weather analyzer. Does it need to be in atmosphere? Requires an atmosphere. So let's not take that to Minmus. We already know there's no atmosphere on Minmus. We need photovoltaic panels. The passive seismometer is great. The goo monitor. There's an antenna. Thought we had a new one actually, but maybe we don't. Maybe it is the passive seismometer. No, it is the weather analyzer. That's the new one, and it does us no good here, unfortunately. That's all right. Okay, so we need to add some cargo to this thing. Maybe we do that as a separate launch. I think we do that as a separate launch. We might already have some of this stuff up there, so let's not overcomplicate this. And we have lots of time, so let's launch. Here we go. This is the first launch of 2023. Exciting. I'm excited. All right, it's loading up. Here we go. There we go. We do not need Flight Manager for recoverable stages, so let's disarm that. We're not recovering this stage. And triple check the stages. I think we're good. All right, with this much of a fairing, we're going to have to be a little bit careful about our angle of attack, but that is all right. We are ready to go. We're good for launch. We'll go for launch. Here's our camera view. Let's throttle up. Stability assist is on. Let's pull out our flight recorder as well. We want altitude, acceleration, and dynamic pressure to be plotted on the graph. And here we go. Go for launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lift off. Vehicle has cleared the tower and is pitching downrange. Everything is looking normal. Vehicle is supersonic. SRB burnout and clean separation, and that is also our maximum aerodynamic pressure. Looking good. It's not as aggressive a turn as I wanted, but we were being careful about our angle of attack. Should be able to pitch down now as we're getting into less dense atmosphere. We're coming up on main engine cutoff. Let's set the station, Arcadia Station, as our target. We have MECO, stage separation, and second engine start. Fairing separation is confirmed. Yeah, it's looking good so far. Our apoapsis is climbing, and so is our periapsis. Our target apoapsis is 150 kilometers. That is the altitude of Arcadia Station's orbit. I'm going to hold this pitch for now, about 15 degrees. And do a minor correction to our inclination. Now our relative inclination is 1.16 degrees and dropping slowly. That is good. It's now less than 1 degree. And we are in space. And yeah, numbers are looking really good. Our periapsis is rising rapidly, which is exactly what we want to see. We can actually close the flight recorder now. Go back to pointing prograde. All right, we have second engine cutoff, stage separation, and we have ignited the engine on our actual vehicle. All right, let's hold an apoapsis of 100 kilometers. There it is, 100 kilometers and half of a meter. That's pretty good. All right, let's coast to apoapsis. And then we'll get an orbit, and then we'll see where we are relative to the space station. I really don't worry too much about optimizing our launch window for the space station, although probably should try that at some point because that would be interesting and fun. All right, we're approaching our apoapsis. And ignition. We have an orbit. And it is roughly circular. Pretty good. We have 0.00185 eccentricity. That's very circular. Okay, so there is Arcadia Station, and yeah, we are catching up to it. So let's decide when we want to raise our orbit. If we do this, then we'll end up with a good approach. We need to just decide when to do that for the best approach. So if I add orbits to this, in 4 orbits. Okay, so in 2 hours and 15 minutes, we should do our orbit raising maneuver. So let's go ahead and time warp. All right, 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes. All right, and it's just going to be a prograde maneuver. Let's see, that is at the periapsis. And actually, we can probably even fine-tune that a little bit more. Yeah, we want to go about now, actually. Right about there is ideal. Okay, and that is in 40 seconds. Let's go ahead and close this. And we will ignite the engines in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. All right, there's the station. Let's watch this. I'm watching this number here, the separation at approach drop. All right, it stopped dropping, so that is what we want right there. Let's see, we are also coming up on the ascending node. We have 0.7 degrees that we need to correct. So ascending node means we need to burn anti-normal. So let's go ahead and warp to here and point anti-normal. I'll pin that. And let's correct our inclination just a bit. Let's use our maneuvering thrusters to do so. Okay, good. And that is tightening our approach as well. And our relative speed at approach is going to be very, very low as well. So this is going to be, it should be a very easy approach. .3 degrees. 0.2 degrees. 0.1. 0.1. And that is as much as we can correct from here. Yeah, our separation at approach is going to be 2.5 kilometers. Let's go ahead and point prograde again, and let's see if we can tweak this any more than this. Let's see just how well we can do this approach, our first one of the new year. We're right below the station, slowing down and coming up underneath. Well, let's see. Yeah, a little bit more prograde will tighten up our approach quite nicely. But not that. Okay. All right, that is as good as we can get from here. But yeah, 500 meters, so 497 meters is how close we'll come if we do nothing. Let's turn off the maneuvering thrusters for now. Let's get out of map view. Let's look at our target right above us. There's the station. What is that? That's some debris that we need to clean up. Also, pieces of the old station, I think, that exploded way back. That was last year. All right, let's time warp and get closer. We are 30 kilometers away from the station. It's going to appear to take a curved path since from any given frame of reference, every path through space is curved. We're in front of it now, and now as we slow down, it's going to come up behind us. Six kilometers. 5, 4, 3. We're going to get that little lag spike as it loads the station into the physics engine. At 2.25 kilometers, there it is. All right, so we are in our target frame of reference here. Let's point retrograde to that and be ready to slow down. Of course, it's nighttime, so it's dark for you guys. Always seems to happen. Of course. All right, let's slow down. We'll come to a relative stop. Right there. Okay, let's control from this docking port right here. And also use that docking port camera. Let's turn around and choose our docking port. Pete Beckman says, I was hoping you would provide better lighting this year. Ha! Joke's on you. I do have lights on this thing, though. So let's turn those on and point at the station. You should have put it on your Christmas list, Pete Venkman. I still wouldn't have done it, but you should have put it on the list. All right, so here's the old set of RCS tanks. Let's actually dock to those and just refuel them. Let's just top those off. Why not? There we go. And we'll turn around. Whoa, we're not as far as I thought, so let's shift this way. How's this lighting, Pete Venkman? We can see much better with this camera. All right, let's just line up for our final approach. We got a nice view of all the ships docked to this place. All right, here's our final approach. We just need to line up just a little bit more, but 0.3 meters per second is a good approach speed in Kerbal Space Program, at least. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're illuminating this thing quite a lot. Just for you, Pete Vangman. Come on. Magnets, do your trick. There we go. Magnets did their trick. Okay, so let's we're gonna leave this spacecraft here, and we can use it to actually return this to burn up in Kerbin's atmosphere. But first, let's empty them out. Use the Fuel Balancer mod, RCS fuel, and they should be the most recent ones. Those are the ones on this ship here. What are these called? These are called the FL R750s. Here they are. It's these four. Okay, so let's start with the one farthest out, and let's just transfer out. And then we'll lock it. And then we'll transfer out. And lock out. And I think these are actually locked. Yeah, those are these right here. Let's unlock those. Lock that one and then transfer out from this one. Okay, so these ones that we just brought are now empty. These ones have a bit in them, and everything else on the station and the ships docked to it should be full with monopropellant at this point. So that will be fantastic. Which one is this? I think that might be in there. It's locked for a reason though, so we're not going to worry about it. Okay, we can close that. That is one significant mission objective accomplished. How fueled is this? Not very at all. So let's transfer fuel out of these fuel tanks then. Let's bring this right back up, actually. And these are the Mark III liquid fuel fuselages. This one here is halfway full. Let's transfer out from that. And when it's empty, we will lock it. And these are big guys, so they've got lots of fuel in them. Let's see, how is this looking? Yep, the fuel is being pumped evenly into every other tank that is not locked. Empty, let's lock that, and let's pump out of this one now. And we can see the camera very slowly shifting as the center of mass moves from here, from being pulled by this to being pulled more by this. And in theory, this should fully fuel this thing. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and do a hydrate. I've got a Pepsi here, left over from our New Year's Eve party. We have a tradition we make a snack slash meal that was named by my sister-in-law, Muffin Protector, from our Minecraft server. All right, that's done and that's full. Yes, nice. And we call it Nonchalanchos. She calls it that. The name came first, and then we decided, oh, we need to actually make that because that's a funny name. So I make fajitas, but on New Year's Eve, instead of making the fajitas, I just make the fajita mix and we put it on nachos, homemade nachos, and we call them Nonchalanchos. They're like nachos, but way more relaxed. And then we play games. We played the Jurassic Park edition of Monopoly, which I got for Christmas last year. Not 2023, in 2022, and it is surprisingly fun. It is quite a different take on Monopoly. You are actually fighting against a T-Rex who's just trying to destroy your park. Is more important than actually getting monopolies. It's fascinating. All right, let's see what we've got here. We need Bo. She is our scientist. Uma's an engineer, right? I think she's an engineer, pilot. Let's just double check. We checked before, and Bo Kerman is the only scientist we have up here. Raider's a pilot. Yeah, Optimus Prime is an engineer. Pilot. Pee-wee's a pilot. Yeah, Pee-wee is our current pilot on duty. And yeah, Munchie is on board. She's an engineer. We do want to have an engineer on board. Uma's an engineer. We're leaving Uma here, though. Let's transfer Uma to here so that we don't forget she's going home on this rotation so that we can complete a rescue contract. I think it was Satan who redeemed Uma. I think so. Satan always has some clever name redeems. Okay, Bowsy is there. She's our co-pilot. I suppose she can come along. Yeah, Bowsy, you can come along. You're our co-pilot. But we definitely need to find Bo again. Bo was in one of these crew compartments. There she is, first try. All right, Bo Kerman, transfer you to here. You are going to Minmus. And before we do this mission, we need to make sure we have the scientific equipment that we want. If we don't, we need to send it up on another launch. Okay, so these cargo pods should all be empty, but we're double checking. Yep, they are empty. What other cargo pods do we have? These here, we've got batteries. That's a structural tube, not a cargo compartment. Okay. And does this thing have any scientific experiments? Review stored data. Surface sample. Okay, we need to transfer this. That's 150 science. We need to, yeah, we're keeping the experiment, but we need to move it. So we'll do that when we come back. Let's not forget about that. I think that's the only stored data. It says there's only one. And that has been used, and we have transmitted the science. Okay, so it is vitally important that we return that scientific sample. Okay. Let's go to... We have more tools than just the vanilla science research facility. But let's go... Experiments available on this vessel. Unlocked. All unlocked experiments, all experiments. And how is this sorted? Can we search Minmus? We can, okay. Landed at Minmus Highlands. Oh, look at the caps lock. That's just gross. I'm going to retype that because of that. All right. It looks like the Highlands are rich in science that we have not recovered yet. So if we go to Minmus Highlands and get a crew report, an EVA report, we've gotten one while landed, temperature scan, gravity scan, atmospheric pressure scan, mystery goo observation, gravity scan in space, seismic scan while landed. Yes, that is the place to go. Minmus Highlands. That is our that's our target. Can we look at our map of Minmus? And let's turn off the resource overlay and let's look at our biomes. Do we have a biome map? I don't think we do yet. RIP. All right, we're gonna have to eyeball it. Let's see. We can use this lander though. This is the one we used before. Okay, why use this when we can use this? Let's use this. Is anyone on board? I don't think so. Transfer crew. Nope, nobody's on board. No crew on part. Perfect. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Bo, we have changed our minds. We. Oh yeah, that's the problem. We don't have a good probe on this thing. That's the issue. Okay. Transfer Bo Kerman to this tiny little. This is pretty much an obsolete lander. This is old technology. We launched an old ship a couple weeks ago and sent it to Minmus, and we're gonna send the same one to Minmus again. What is our? Where is the scientific experiments on this? Let's aim the camera here so that I can do better camera work. There we go. We've got, of course, the Science Junior Materials Study Bay. I think it's all hidden in here. Yes, we need to reset the mystery goo containers. We have back here the press map barometer. I think right here is a battery. Where is the thermometer? There is a thermometer in there. In here somewhere. Let's look real close. Is it clipped in here? It might be. It's real cramped in here, isn't it? Well, there we go. Okay, so there's the barometer. I'm certain that we have a thermometer on this thing, though. I'm certain of it. Finally, better camera work, says Pete Venkman. Wow, rude. Hashtag ban Pete Venkman, I say. That's what. Okay, where is it? Yeah, better goes in big air quotes. Better camera work. Okay, please tell me there's also a seismometer on here. I don't think there is. Do we want to send something new? Because this thing, I think, is terrible. What has this got? Let's look at this. Let's see. Aim camera. We might send this after all. It's a better ship. See, those are full of monopropellant. That's good. 6 nuclear engines on it. But does it have scientific experiments? It's got this big ol' Science Junior. Okay, yes it does. There's the seismometer, there's the barometer, there's the thermometer. Okay, yeah. We're going back to the old plan. We're sorry, Bo. You don't get to fly the antique spaceship. You get to be a passenger on the new spaceship. You get to crawl back through all those tubes. Build, says Pete Beckman. Something new. Oh, that's a good point. That is a good point. But no, we're taking this. We're taking it as is. All right, here we go. Undock. All right, let's push off a little bit. And we are setting Minmus as our target. Okay, and while that pushes off, let's plan our transfer. So Minmus is here. By the time we arrive, it should be about there. So we want to, yeah, we want to burn right now, actually. Let's do it. Let's point prograde, and let's make sure that point's away from the station. We don't want to crash into the station. That looks great, actually. And ignition. I love the plumes on these nuclear engines, on these atomic rocket motors. All right, and as soon as we have a little bit of distance, we're going to go full burn. We don't want to just, you know, cook these guys right now. I mean, we kind of do. All right, and these are low thrust, high efficiency engines, so we're going to go ahead and speed the game up. Bye, station. All right, and hopefully we don't get caught by the moon. With that position, I don't think we will. Excellent. All right, let's cut the engines, go back to real time, and then do some precision work for the end of this burn. Okay, that is close enough. We're going to do a course correction at the descending node right here, which is coming up in 6 minutes. So let's time warp to here. And since it's the descending node, we want to burn normal. Let's pin that and zoom out. And just a gentle push. Looking good so far. Down to 1 degree. Let's put the descending node right at where we're going to be arriving. And we are going to need to do another correction when we get here to make sure that we are we get captured by Minmus, which has a tiny sphere of influence, and we're going to get there in just about 6 days. Let's add a maneuver here. And I think this way should do it. No. That does it. Okay. Yeah, slowing down. Okay, so yeah, we'll be able to do that when we get there. So let's just time warp to here. 5 days and 4 hours from now. All right, now that we're closer, we should be able to get a more accurate estimate from the game of what's going to happen if we do a maneuver. And yeah, if we do radial out, let's not do radial out actually, let's do retrograde. Doesn't like that either, interesting. If we move it to the descending node, yeah, it's giving us different numbers than it did before, but that's not very surprising. It's Kerbal Space Program after all. So let's see. Yeah, from up here, radial out is being very effective though. Look how much that is changing our closest approach. All right, that will do it for sure. Okay, let's warp to the descending node then, because we know that's where it will work. And that's 2 more days, because we're going very slow now. And let's point radial out. And burn until we get our encounter. And remember, we're aiming for the highlands for our landing. So if we have a highly inclined capture orbit, that's actually fine because that gives us the most options for landing. Okay, that is a capture. Minimus Periapsis, let's drop it. Yeah, it's on our way back down. That's actually a hilarious encounter. I haven't done one quite like this before, so there's something new. All right, let's time warp and get to our encounter. And of course it took it away from us, but it's back. All right, good. As long as it comes back as we come out of time warp, I'm okay with it. And so far, so good. This always makes me nervous, the way it does this. Okay, still looking okay. All right, let's time warp right to here. Here comes Minmus. We're going real slow, letting it catch up to us. That's how many my encounters look, says Pete Vegman. Nice. All right. Did it really take it away from us? All right. Out of maneuver. Which way does it want us to go to fix this? Neither of those ways. Boo. That works, but I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. What about this? Nope, I don't like that either. I think we briefly had one, but I don't like it. Why you gotta do this to me, Kerbal Space Program? Every time, I swear. Okay, that gives us an encounter in 44 minutes. Okay. And that is burning normal. All right, let's try that from here. One of the many things that I'm looking forward to and hoping will be better in Kerbal Space Program 2 is these calculations. Gross, I hate this. There we go. All right, and it doesn't disappear when I time warp. That's a good sign. Basically, it rounds the numbers differently in time warp, and sometimes it decides, well, nope, everything's completely different from what you thought it was going to be. All right, and we are in the sphere of influence of Minmus, and I am about to sneeze, so I'm going to hit the cough button. Hold on. Whoa, that was a big one. I think I might have changed our orbit with that sneeze. All right, in 1 hour and 39 minutes, we will be at the periapsis. Let's get there. And then we will burn retrograde and get our capture orbit. Retrograde. Here we go. We might do some rescues on the way back home, depending on what the rescues look like. And our Delta V. There's our capture orbit right there. It is actually not inclined at all. 4.5 degree inclination. It's actually really good. I'm gonna say that I planned it that way, except I wanted an inclined one, so never mind that. But we're going nice and slow, so let's watch the biome. And when we are over the highlands, we want to slow down to a stop relative to that point on the surface of Minmus. There's lowlands, midlands, highlands. Okay, here we go. So surface mode, and we're going to go retrograde. And hopefully it is not a very slopey surface. We're gonna see. Actually, that has me nervous. Okay, here we go. Let's focus on Minmus and let's look at the surface down here. I think that's okay. Let's do it. Excuse me, but that's the wrong way. Okay, orbit mode then. We're gonna lower our orbit because apparently the way we are, if we slow down relative to Minmus surface, we'll actually be escaping. So depending on what the rescues look like, we only rescue people who look good. You know it. That's a requirement. Always has been. All right, let's get down low. Satan with the boozinate. All right, let's boozinate. Thank you, Satan. The second boozinate of the new year. Thank you, Satan. Okay, and yeah, I'm not worried about the time that this is taking because we want to move the clock forward anyway. What's a good thing? All right, let's warp here. And we're already pointing retrograde thanks to our persistent rotation mod. I love that mod. I say it every time because I mean it. All right, and we have an altitude of 150 kilometers. Let's just circularize this. Ish. All right, we need the highlands again. So let's time warp and get back around to the day side. Excuse me. And I think these are plateaus, but they might be highlands. Let's see what it looks like when we get over them. Lowlands, slopes, midlands. Midlands. Are these highlands, maybe? What about that? Midlands. I'm wondering if this right here is highlands. Because I think that's about what we were over. It was either that or this over here, I think. Lowlands, really? Interesting. . Still lowlands. Still the lowlands. Okay, and then we're going to go over this flat. The slopes. The lowlands. Great flats. We've been there. I think there's still science to be got from there, but we've been there. And we're looking for the highlands. Still the lowlands. All right, what is this we're about to fly over? Lowlands. I know we did fly over some highlands, but now we're coming back around the night side, which I don't like. So, what if we use some of our delta V to change our inclination? Let's burn normal. Satan says, I switched my Minecraft player to be a lefty like me, and it's so odd. Isn't that interesting how even if you are left-handed in real life, you're used to playing Minecraft as a right-handed player, but you're using your left hand to do the controls, so it still works. Very interesting. I've just always left it right-handed, and I'm right-handed. I'm sure if the Minecraft player had been left-handed all along, and I was used to that, but yeah. That part was throwing me off. Interesting. Very interesting. You were thinking about it too much? Exactly. That's the thing. We don't really think about that we are right-handed or left-handed. It's just natural. All right, let's go in between normal and retrograde and burn. Yeah, if we have an inclined orbit, we will cover more ground. That gives great coverage. There we go. Satan says, but as a lefty being forced to use a PC as a right-handed person, no one on Earth uses a left-handed mouse. That's true. It would be easier with a trackpad, I'd imagine, but Minecraft is hard to play with a trackpad. I'm not sure if I've ever even handled a left-handed mouse. That would be very strange to me. All right, lowlands. Here's what we'll do. Let's point prograde. Let's get out of map view. We've got a good view from down here. Let's lock the camera. Right here, and then we're going to be able to see very well what is below us. And actually we want to be pointing in, we want to be in surface mode. There we go, and pointing retrograde. Okay. There we go. All right, let's time warp a bit. Oh, right. When we time warp with the persistent rotation mod, it snaps us to orbit mode, but that's okay. We'll use it. It's pretty close. Okay, lowlands. This isn't doing the camera angle that I wanted it to. Let's make sure we really are locked. Yes, we really are locked. But part of the problem is that we have quite the eccentric orbit. I think that's the reason. Okay, so we're still lowlands. Land at night if we have to, but I don't want to land at night. I want to make good on the request by Pete Bigman that we have better lighting this year. Midlands. I'm looking right here, by the way. Highlands, okay. All right, we're going to land right here. So we're going to come to a complete stop relative to that point below us on the surface, and then we're going to descend. Just like this. Okay. Suicide burn countdown is 55 minutes. Let's go to landing info, not landing guidance. We're not going to automate this landing. This says suicide burn countdown 12 minutes. Okay, now this agrees. Okay, yeah, this is why I like this landing info window from MechJeb, is because it does not change the calculation when we go into time warp. This definitely does, and that is a recipe for disaster, for sure. Okay. Let's go back to auto camera so we don't get sick. The Kerbals can get sick. They seem to not mind. Look how happy they are. Let's make sure all of the lights are on. All right, let's review our action groups. Okay, gear does those, but we also need to unlock them. Okay, and that is action group 4. Okay, cool. There we go. Those are our homemade landing gear. Let's lock the pistons again. Point retrograde. And we have 1 minute and 20 seconds before it says that we need to do our suicide burn. $30 seconds. Okay, so we're going to do a pre-burn and slow down. And that should be good. Let's also open this, and let's see. Experiments available on this vessel. Available right now. EVA report while in space near Minmus Highlands. Let's let's do it. All right, Bo, let's do it. Daredevil EVA. Here you go. Hanging on to the outside. There we go. Turn on your visor. And let's do EVA report. The mesmerizing aquamarine flats almost make you forget to keep one hand on the ship's handle at all times. Yeah, keep one hand on the ship's handle at all times. All right, keep that and then board. That was fun. Materials study while in space. Let's do that. We can reset this because we have a scientist. All right, let's keep the experiment. Atmospheric scan. Let's do that. Can I do that from here? No. That's okay. We have 1 minute before we need to do our burn. We need to pay very close attention to that. Okay, atmospheric scan, log pressure data, read 0 as if it were in a vacuum. Imagine that. Let's keep that experiment. And let's see, mystery goo observation, temperature scan. We can do a temperature scan, log the temperature. Minmus is cold, ice cream is cold. Coincidence? You hope not. I sure hope not. All right, we still have 32 seconds. We're doing very well. Okay. Slope is 11 degrees. That's a little steep, but we have a very wide landing base, so we should be okay. All right, and we're going to slow down again. We have the Delta V. We don't need to get all risky and efficient on this. Oh, and we're in the Midlands again. Ah, boo. Why are we in the Midlands? We've shifted. That's no good. Well, we've got some good science, and we might be able to do some of these in the Midlands as well. We'll find out. And we can do a little hop to the Highlands if we need to. Okay, we're coming down close to the surface. It's hard to see the surface, but we're close to it. Trust me on that. "50 meters above the surface. And that is how far our command pod is, not the landing gear. We're not illuminating the surface yet either. There we go. We can see our plume. There we go. We have landed. Let's stabilize. We've got a little bounce going on. That's okay. Yikes. Let's stop bouncing, please. We're spinning and bouncing. Oh, physics in this game. Okay, so yeah, we've already got Mr. Goose seismic scan, material study, and surface sample from the Midlands. Ah, gross. Okay, so we do want the Highlands. Let's look at the map. Okay, are we coming to a stop? I think so. Good. All right, just in case the Kraken attacks, we're going to do a quick save. We only quick save for the Kraken, not for derps. All right, now let's get some daylight. There we go. Middle of the day. Right. Let's zoom out. Let's see. Where do we need to go for the Highlands? I think maybe up here? I hope so. Let's try that. We're going to go uphill. So we need our stability assist on. Let's keep an eye on our fuel. Our monopropellant is actually pretty good. Docking mode, no, we want... Yeah, there we go. Fine control. All right, and let's... let's lift off a little bit. Just gentle. We want to go that way. Northeast. Frame rate is real low here. We're going to do just a little hop. And I'm hoping that uphill is the Highlands. Makes sense, right? If we're in the Midlands, we need to go up, right? Is that what Highlands mean? I hope so. Okay, see this little lip right here? I think that might be the biome boundary between what the game considers Midlands and Highlands. Let's do a more aggressive hop. Let's head up here. Alright, speed the game up a little. And what we can do, actually, is point the vessel straight up, and we can maintain our altitude. So we're coming up on our apoapsis here. And we got a boozinate from Elric. Oh, that's a rude one. I respect that, Elric. All right, let's boozinate and hydrate. How are you doing, Elric? Good to see you here. There we go. And we want to maintain about a 1 on our thrust weight ratio. There we go. Oh, we're over the Highlands. Excellent. And I'm going to do some bonus hydrate from my Pepsi, too. Excellent. Thank you. The slope is higher here as well. Let's hop. Okay, less slope here. That's good. All right, let's slow down. EVA report while in space near Minmus Highlands. That's a terrible idea right now. Okay, we have 30 seconds though, so let's do it. Wait, she needs to transfer her. She already has that EVA report. Okay, we can transmit the data. Where is she? This is a bad idea. Let's not do it. All right, we're 100 meters over the surface. And now we're doing it in the daytime, so that's a whole lot better. All right, let's slow down. It's still more slope than I'd prefer, but we got Kerbal and Eve up there in the sky. That's a nice view. We're coming down for the gentlest landing possible here. Barely burning these engines. Okay. And I see your question, Pete Venkman. We'll address that in just a moment here. As we touch down. With this low frame rate here, I am being extra careful. There we go. And little bounce, such low gravity on on Minmus, on Eve. No, Eve has high gravity. So Pete Beckman asks, what's a good mod for being able to see actual altitude instead of sea level? Well, first, you can actually switch that now in Kerbal Space Program. 7 meters is the height of the probe core. So it's telling me that I'm 7 meters above the surface. But this up here is Kerbal Engineer Redux, which I think is a must. And this here is, this is MechJeb, which a lot of people consider a little bit cheaty. It's a very controversial mod, but I really like it and highly recommend it. All right, crew report while landed at Minimus Highlands. Okay, let's do a crew report. But let's do a crew report. Oh, there's no crew on that. Here we go. Crew report. The curvature of Minimus is easily visible from here. Yes, it is. Let's transmit that. We can get a full value from that transmit. Let's see what else we've got. Is Bo here? Bo is in this. All right, let's review the stored data. Okay, this is her EVA report from above Minimus, Minimus Midlands. Let's transmit that because we can get full value from transmitting instead of returning it in person. There we go. So that's already very good. What are we looking at? 172.6 science points. Can we transfer without going on EVA? I think we're going to have to go on EVA. And last time we were on EVA, the jetpacks did not work properly. They were bugged, and that was annoying. So hopefully that's not the case this time. Okay. Review data. We only get 70% value by transmitting this instead of, we want to take another temperature scan. It's probably worthwhile though. So yeah, let's go ahead and transmit that data and take another reading. Log temperature data. You secretly wish the temperature were hot enough to cause you to sweat. You packed extra ice cream for the occasion. It's another ice cream reference. And let's do the same for our seismic data. Review the data and transmit. And then log the pressure data. Collected and recorded atmospheric pressure data from the surroundings. So fascinating. What flavor, that text? Okay, so now I think we do have mystery goo. Okay, good. So I'm gonna need to clip the camera in here to get to it. Mystery goo containment unit. Okay, let's zoom back out. It's uncomfortable in there. Observe mystery goo. The goo turns into a scale model of Minimus and indicates the landing site with a little X. Oh, that's nice. We've already recovered as much as we can from transmitting, so we're going to keep the experiment and we're going to transfer it to our capsule when we get back to the station and return it to the surface of Kerbin to be presented in person. All right, so, but now, double C seismic accelerometer, log seismic data. We've already done one, so we've gotten, again, what we can from transmitting, but we can get another 42.7 science if we recover this. The lake beds rumble periodically. Perhaps the tidal forces are causing heating under all that ice. Probably. I'd imagine so. What else have we got? I think that's it for the scientific experiments on the ship. So, Bo, you're up again, and let's just cross our fingers that your jetpack works. That your jetpack works. There we go. And is it working? It is working. Yes, good. Oh, and we can do an EVA report in space. We're technically in space since we're not on the surface. All right, EVA report. And it's the same one. That's okay. We're gonna keep the experiment because we don't have an antenna that can transmit back home from here. But let's transfer that to the ship before you go set foot on the surface, Bo, because we're going to want to take another one of those from the surface. So go ahead and come on over here. And, oh, climb. There we go. Climb. Oh, you so-and-so. All right. Store experiments. We can do it from here. There we go. All right. Good to go. Look at the texture on those little ice pieces, though. I'm loving this Parallax shaders mod. This is great. Okay, so what can we do from here? We can get a surface sample. Take a surface sample. And if we take it home, we get 121.9 more science. You try to taste the sample, but your helmet gets in the way. Oh, Bo, you can't lick the rocks through your helmet. You know this. What else can we do? We already have this apparently. Okay. So what we will do is plant a flag. Let's get a little bit farther away from the spacecraft so that it is not destroyed by the plumes as we take back off. We're probably far enough, but we're gonna keep going just in case. All right. And we're going to, okay, so we're going to wait for her to hit the ground again. There we go. And we're going to plant a flag, and we're going to call this Bo Kerman's Highland Adventure. Yes. Happy Scientifical New Year, Minmus. There we go. And let's give this flag a better light. So like so. There we go. She's saluting the flag. Look at that. All right, let's get a cool screenshot of this. On the slope and everything. Look at that. Beautiful. All right. Your fun's over, Bo. Get back on the ship. We're going home. Again, I'm just glad the jetpacks are working this time, the rocket packs. And board. Grab. Board. There we go. Welcome back. All right, let's see. Let's review our data. Okay, we can get a crew report. Oh, material study. We want to do that. And wait, review data. We don't want to do that because we would lose quite a bit of science. We're not going to be going there again. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to transmit what we've got at 49%. And then we're going to do another one and keep it. So that's what we're going to do. Yes, transmit data, and we have scientists so we can reset the experiment, so never mind that warning. So Bo needs to come back out, though, to do this. Don't damage the antenna, Bo. Restore. There we go. And board, grab, and board. There we go. And now we can do this materials science study again. but from the highlands this time. Here we go. Bacterial samples appear to gorge themselves on what looks like microscopic mint scones. Okay. All right, we're going to keep that experiment this time. All right, what does our science look like now? We have 347.6. That's fantastic, and more to bring home. All right, X Science mod, we're done with you. Let's take off and get back into orbit. Let's go back to orbit mode. We've made that mistake before. All right, and lifting off of the surface of Minmus. And heading east. Retract the landing gear. And lock them in place. There we go. Let's go for a 50-kilometer orbit. Okay, it's going to take us 14 minutes to get to Apoapsis because of such low gravity. So let's just let's point prograde and warp to there. And we have an orbit. Very inclined, but we have an orbit. Let's see, where are we relative to Kerbin? There really isn't a super optimum time, but we're as close to one as there is, so let's just keep burning. We'll get our escape, and we'll be lowering our orbit around Kerbin at the same time. Just like that. But wow, what an inclination. Okay. So let's see, 4.5 hours to escape. Let's go ahead and do that. We have 2.25 kilometers per second delta V remaining, which is fantastic. Where are our rescues anyway? I think one is in orbit of Kerbin, so we might attempt that one. Let's see, yeah, rescue Raylan from orbit of Kerbin. Let's see, Uma's already been saved, just needs to be returned. And Uranus, they're in orbit of Kerbin. Okay, so let's take a look at them then. Ships. Raylan's wreckage. They should be both in very low orbit. What about Uranus wreckage? Also low. Okay. Oh wait, Uranus is in orbit of Minmus. Okay, so Uranus is gonna have to wait. And we have another Booznate from Elric. Thank you, Elric. This is a celebration of all the science we've gathered. Alright, but we're gonna go rescue Raylan then. So here is the descending node. Yep, we have a 30-degree inclination around Kerbin, but it will be not too expensive to fix that from way up here because we're going relatively slowly, only about 210 meters per second, where it will be multiple kilometers per second at our lowest point. All right, so descending node means we need to burn normal. So we're going to point that way, and we're going to time warp a little bit closer. The closer we are to the descending node itself, the more effective this maneuver will be. There we go. We're 30 seconds away from it. That's pretty good. All right, we're pushing it away again, so let's cut the engines and get closer. We're 5 minutes away. And here we go. Last little bit of correction. All right, 0.0004. That's really good. That is about as good as you could ever ask for. All right, and in fact, it's going to be worse by the time we finish our other maneuvers, but there's no helping that. So let's point retrograde and let's drop down to its orbit. It's going to take us 11 days to get back down to Kerbal at the current rate. Less than that once we finish this maneuver. Ooh, I hope the moon doesn't cause us trouble. It might. It's going to be over here by the time we get there, though, so I think we might be okay. Kaylee says, boo! Why? Because we're not rescuing Uranus yet? Okay, Periapsis. It's probably at about 80 kilometers, I would guess, is where we're going to find Raylan. No, because you just woke up? Are you hungover from the new year? Everyone, this is the first time Kaylee has woken up in the new year. Welcome. Looks like you went to sleep right when I said, wow, rude. Who are you, Shipwreck? That's a Shipwreck thing to do. Let's focus the target. And yeah, 85 kilometers, that's pretty standard for where these rescue contracts happen. So let's drop our periapsis to about that. Second time, yes, okay. Well, I've done something cool. I've upgraded something to do with Shipwreck's favorite thing to do to me with commands, with mod commands, and I wonder if you discover it before he does since he's not here. Pluripapsis, pluripapsis. No. Wow. Okay, let's drop it just a little more. There we go. That's pretty dang close. So now what we need to do is get down to there and lower our apoplexis. Oh, Dan, says Kaylee. I'm working on a data pack. Ooh. Do you want to tell me about it here, or is it super secret? Whoa, okay, let's focus on our ship. There we go. No more camera wobble because it's focused on our target. I have some data pack work I need to do. All right, let's keep dropping. Keep dropping. All right. You already released this once. It's your Hearts Challenge data pack updated to 119. Oh, cool. Oh, Minecraft commands, I have a love-hate relationship with them. They're the only programming language I can claim any proficiency in. There are so many cool things you can do with them, and so many things that with one tweak from the developers would be literally perfect, but are instead the worst. I'd be interested in helping you with that if you're interested in allowing some help with that. Okay. We're 6.5 minutes away. We're going to be going pretty quick, so we might do a couple passes on this. I want to not change my periapsis too much, so Let's get real close to this periapsis. I fully agree. How does it make sense to use the kind of stupid workarounds we have to use to get basic programming stuff done? That's why I like that Slice Lime does data packs, because I feel like the stuff that gets fixed, that is technical stuff, usually comes from him being frustrated by the same things. But I'm also frustrated that it doesn't happen more often. The worst is the trigger variables. Instead of having custom commands that you can just script, it would be so much simpler from their perspective and from ours if we could just say, here's a function and here's the command that any player can do to trigger that function. And you pick from the two. Wait, hold on. I read Slice Slime's Mob Dash data pack to learn how to do random functions. You have to summon 2 fart clouds. Oh, he's using an old method. Kaylee, I have a better method. Yes, to shift the bits. Okay, everyone uses, including the what is it? The fetcher data pack in mod. Everyone uses that crazy random number function. Random numbers are super simple now. It is, you do store it in the scoreboard, but I'll show you after this. I'll show you. There is, I do random numbers better than I think anyone else does, period. And I'll show you my method. I got fed up with trying to use those methods because they're stupid. They're absolutely overpowered, stupid, and wasteful for your CPU. Mob Dash is more recent than his Bitmath one from Chosen. Yeah, but it's still bad. You don't need the fart clouds. You don't need any of that. It's way easy. And you don't need to shift any bits. I'll show you my way of doing it. I have taken the vanilla tweaks, the Wandering Trader stuff, and I've improved that. That one literally calls up 2 mushrooms and particle clouds, makes them all do a bunch of math, and then despawns them. I can do it without any of that. It's a bunch of nonsense that people are using for these. Okay. Let's use this intersect here. And let's use our maneuvering thrusters to fine-tune this. All right, and that's as close as we can get because that is the difference in our altitudes there. And that's coming up in 3.5 hours. So let's warp to here. Okay, it says, you know how angry I'm going to be if I find out I did it stupidly using Slice Slime's method and spent hours figuring out this weekend instead of doing real work, and you have an easy fix? You're going to be angry, Kaylee. Also, you want to know what's even worse? I do want to know what's even worse, Kaylee. You're going to be so mad at how easy random numbers are within the last couple of Minecraft updates, but nobody uses it right. Nobody. Everyone uses the old method so that they don't have to figure it out themselves. Bedrock has a scoreboard, the command that just picks a random number between min and max. Yeah, why doesn't Java have that? It's easy. It's already built in. Just make it a command. It makes absolutely no sense. I have such a love-hate relationship with the Minecraft devs. It's wild. Okay, we're going to tighten up the approach by burning retrograde from here. We're going to be going fast when we meet this thing. I don't like that, but it is what it is, and we have way more delta V than we need. It's just that we'll need to start our burn pretty early. That's okay. Let's tighten up this approach. Doesn't work on Java, it's stupid. I know, that should be a basic. And do you think with all the things that Slice Slime has done, he would already have addressed that? You'd expect that, right? He's a smart guy. He has a lot of pull. They need to give us real data storage instead of kludgy scoreboard use. It was not meant for this. It wasn't, but there's a much easier scoreboard you can do. I'll show it to you tonight. It'll be you're gonna be so mad. You're gonna be mad at Slice Slime, and you're gonna be mad at who is it that made the it's the random number generator that everyone uses, and it's the way everyone uses it. It's like using a high-end steamroller just to build a tiny, simple sandcastle. I'm not going to show you NBT stuff. I'm going to show you a... Well, okay, there's a little bit of NBT, but it is one command. It's very easy. You're going to be so mad. That's... I'll bring it up later. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. But yeah, I had the same exact frustration you did. And then, so I sat down and figured it out myself. It is execute store. But there's more than that. You got to do some modulo divide and stuff. But it doesn't summon any extra like mushrooms and fart clouds. And it's instant. All right, let's get our approach. You didn't want to figure it out or hurt your brain. I know. I've been there. I know your pain. All right, we need to start slowing down. It's going to change this, but that's okay. We can fix it. It's more important that we slow down. Here we go. Now we're going relative speed of 500 meters per second, and this keeps getting recalculated. $400 meters per second. Yeah, we're not going to do this a super efficient way because I want to do it a quick way and we have lots of extra delta V to play with, so we're okay. $200 meters per second. All right, and we're tightening up our approach again. Okay, there we go. There we have it, right there. We're gonna pass 1,500 meters away. Okay, this says, I don't even mind if they don't take away the current working stuff. I would totally love if they added a simple code framework onto commands, data storage loops, and conditionals. Yeah, and it would be pretty simple, honestly. I know they complain whenever someone says, why can't the developers just do this? A modder can do it. And they're like, oh, it's way harder if you're really doing it. I don't buy it. I know they're working with some really clunky code, but they have access to more and better tools than the modders do, so that means that they can do it. Repeat variable x times commands. Yep. Now I should show you some of my data packs because I've come up with some pretty clever stuff that I don't think other people have. And honestly, data packs, I have a blast doing them. All right, let's tighten up our approach and slow down as well. Let's come out here and look at the target. There we go. Yeah, we need to slow down further. We're rescuing Relit. All right, we're going to come within 430 meters at 38 meters per second. And then we're going to return to the station. It says, I buy it, but it would be worth it to make the code stuff work better, and no one can possibly understand how ridiculous some of these methods are more than Slice Slime, who has done these things. Exactly. All right. Our approach is 153 meters at 16 meters per second. All right, Raylan, we're coming for you. And who redeemed this? Was this Silvery Sky? Or was it... No, it was someone else. I need to look it up and remember. Let's come to a stop. And they can get the rest of the way on EVA. It's fine. There we go. Let's see. We got our reward request queue. It was Nutric. That's who it was. It was Nutric MC. Okay, so when you opt in to the Hearts Challenge game, it sets your generic max health to 2, but your current health is still 20. So I effect give regen 20 seconds and poison 2 seconds. This is a fun challenge. I'm gonna need to be in a different headspace for it. But yeah, let's put our heads together later if you are interested in that, and we'll figure this out. And I think we can come up with something clever for this. I mean, the Hearts Challenge is clever to begin with, but I think we can streamline it and make it a really elegant mod pack. All right, let's first, this is the Mark 1 cockpit without a spacecraft that Raylan is stuck in. Let's reclassify it as debris. No, it's fine to ramble. Don't worry about that. Let's see, and then when you gain a heart, I want you to get a half heart healed up, so I have to regen you for 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds, a half heart, but the command only takes integers. Oh, that's brutal. And Boozinate from Elric. Boozinate for a successful Rendezvous. Thank you, Elric. And a hydrate. I'm gonna Pepsinate. This hydrate is a Pepsinate. Brought to you by Pepsi. Excellent, thank you. All right, and now, Raylan, get out. EVA. Turn on your helmet cam, there we go, and let go. And turn on your jetpack, there we go. And there's your target right there. Let's bring you home. Okay, says, okay, so let's talk on voice chat. I can send you the code I have, and I want to tell you where I still have stuff to figure out. Yes, we should have some time tonight, and if not, then tomorrow we'll talk after this for sure, and we'll come up with something. I'm excited about it. I love doing these things, even the ones that are a headache. All right, let's speed up. We got the fuel for this. We're good. Plus, I kind of want to try out the Hearts Challenge. You have tomorrow off still? That might be perfect. We can start setting it up tonight and approach it more tomorrow if we need to, which we will, I'm sure. You have to take Ariel to the vet again. How is Ariel doing? Hopefully well. Hopefully this is just a checkup. Pirate. All right, we need to get our selfie, our traditional rescue selfie. But we're in the nighttime, of course, because we always are. So what we're gonna do is come over here, park, and let's time warp a little bit. We're gonna drift apart, but that's okay. And let's get some sunlight so we can take a really good rescue selfie. Okay, says, I was thinking I would try to do an art stream, but this whole week I've been dealing with her while trying to get my week off, workload done, and still didn't have the extra space to do an art stream. I feel the pain. Sorry. Sorry to hear all that. Yeah, we were going to have more board games today, but my brother and his family got snowed in at their bed and breakfast last night at their Airbnb, so good thing we played some games last night. Oh no, you accidentally put the meds into her nose, but she's okay? Okay, good. Oh boy. But yeah, we tried to get together and play board games as a family every New Year's. And last night we played one that my wife gave me for Christmas last Christmas. It's the Jurassic Park edition of Monopoly, and I was expecting it to just be Monopoly, but also there's a dinosaur. But no, it's a whole different game, and it is actually pretty fascinating and really fun. I recommend it. Okay, it says tomorrow is to remove the rubber band holding her eye socket open, and they said that they said is a drain, in quotes. That's horrifying. Oh my gosh. Sorry to laugh, but it's either laugh or cry, right? It's very horrifying. I believe it. Okay. All right, let's park here. Actually, let's come around here. Put the spacecraft in the background. Supreme Doom. Supreme Doom, welcome. You were doing crafts, right? And Shipwreck. Shipwreck was first, he says. Shipwreck, no. No, Luli was first. And then disappeared. All right, let's get this screenshot. That's a good one. All right, let's get Raylan, a viewer rescue, aboard the ship, and then let's greet our raiders. Hey Kaylee, you wanna do a shout out for Supreme Doom? One of my own mods. Ship was always first, says B-Monk. I pronounced that right. I think I remember that it's pronounced B-Monk. Welcome. Supreme Doom says, hey Dan, how was your stream, Supreme Doom? You were doing crafts, I think. I didn't get a chance to go say hello. I wanted to go say hello, but while I was dealing with the kiddos. Thank you for the follow, B-Monk. It's been a while. Let's see, what do we got? Ship was always first to Shipwreck. Ship was always first to Supreme Doom. Is that the raid message today? You did tell me, Kaylee, that they sent her home the first day the surgery was scheduled, which is frustrating. Understandable if they're busy, but frustrating still. And we got Alexa online with the raid. And the follow, thank you very much. Nice. Supreme Doom in the craft room, says Supreme Doom. Oh, it just scrolled. There we go. Bringing glitter to your stream. That stuff gets in everywhere. I have rescued Supreme Doom before. Let's, in fact, we're at a good spot. We got Buddy Clark with follow. Thank you, buddy. Enjoy your fanfare. Let's see. We got... Let's turn on Spacecraft. Supreme Oddities Wreckage. Supreme Doom redeemed a rescue, and also she has done some paper quilling for her fellow First Craft members, and so I made one of those a flag. So check this out. Of course, the light is terrible. I can't move it. Can you see this? There's a butterfly on there. It's a Jane Cobb colored butterfly, which you can't see in the dark. Let's just for the moment, hey, Shipwreck with the Shipwreck totem, and I'm gonna catch up with chat in a second here. Let's see, settings. Can I turn up the ambient light, not the sounds? Ambient light boost, 0%, 100%. Apply. There it is. Look at that beautiful paper butterfly that is now a Kerbal Space Program flag. This is art done by Supreme Doom on her own stream. So, let's see. I don't think Kaylee's paying attention, so I'm going to do the shout out. There we go. There's a shout out for Supreme Doom. Most of you came with the raid, but if you're not, if you were here already, follow Supreme Doom. She does occasional Minecraft and a lot of interesting paper crafts. Let's see. Yes, it was really great. Thanks to Supreme Doom. We counted our followers, and I made a fairy card. Oh, nice. Very cool. Okay, it says, I'm on a web browser, but I don't know how to do the official shoutouts. It's /shoutout. There it is. There she's talking about it. I know how to mark her as suspicious. Well, we do know that Supreme Doom is suspicious. That is an absolute fact. The butterfly. Yep, exactly. We can barely see it. Yep, now you can see it. Yeah, because of course it's nighttime where this is. Well, I mean, the sun's up, but of course it's pointed the other way, but no one's aboard, and there's no probe core, no battery power, so we can't rotate it. So, you know, my art is out of this world, Supreme Doom. Yup. She says, Kaylee says, I am paying attention. I don't know how to do it. Nice. Dirtbad Kaylee. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. We just learned it today. If you're on a PC, it's /shoutout name, says Drooge. Welcome, Drooge. How are you doing, Drooge? And Supreme Doom says, Dan, can I make a special announcement, please? Yes, you can. And Kaylee asking the good questions. Why can't you do that on mobile then? Nobody knows. Blame Twitch. It's terrible. Turn on mod view and there's all kinds of buttons. Why is there no shout out button? Right? And why was it when you could still do the hosts? Why was that easy on mobile but impossible on PC, but not the other way around? Let's see. There's a highlighted message from Supreme Doom. Thank you so much to my amazing mod team. They are not only amazing mods, they are amazing friends. Thank you. Let's pin that. Can I pin that? I can't pin that. Why can't I pin that? I want to pin that. Let me pin that. Dang it, I can't pin that. Well, maybe because it's highlighted. Yes, indeed. And likewise. So we got 3 of my mods here. We've got Kaylee, who was asleep for most of the stream and now is awake. We got Shipwreck, who thinks he's first but wasn't. And we've got Supreme Doom, who did the raid. Kaylee says, okay, so today I have bitterly complained about Minecraft commands and about Twitch modding. Well, you're right on both counts. I'll say that. All right, let's turn the ambient light back down to normal because that is cooler. There we go. Oh, bye, butterfly. Bye. Resume flight. And we need to go back to the PORC 6. PORC is an acronym for Personnel Orbital Rescue Craft. Switch to target. There we go. Shipwreck says, how did I get modded? You know how. Ship told me, Supreme Doom, you were live. He guided the raid. Oh, nice. Let's do a shout out for Shipwreck. All right, Kaylee, do you remember how to do it? And Kaylee asking, did you rescue Uranus yet? Not yet. We were at Minmus where Uranus is stranded, and we decided not to. There's a shout out for Shipwreck. Thank you. What am I doing, says Kaylee? Too late. Supreme Doom did it. But Kaylee, you wanna make Shipwreck mad? I'll give you the choice, Kaylee. You may either add or remove a derp from me. Go for it. Try it. See what happens. Do it. I dare you, Kaylee. Do it. Go ahead. Let's target our space station, Arcadia Station. There it is. Now go ahead and add the dirt back. I made this emote myself, says Shipwreck. Very rude. All right, we just rescued a viewer, and we need to take them back to our space station now. So here is the space station. How do you like that? What do you think of that? Nothing moved, says Supreme Doom. It's not in the chat anymore. It's on screen. Mega derp, says Shipwreck. Oh, there's the derp remove. Oh, but there's a cooldown. Supreme Doom is adding another derp. There's a cooldown. Sorry. I think it's 1 minute. I'm gonna play with it. I'm playing with the streamer bot. We'll see. Okay, so here's PORC 6. Here is our target. We need to raise our orbit and meet it. So let's add a maneuver here. I don't understand, says Kaylee. Here, I'll do it. There are 2 possible animations that happen. You can't cool down your derp. If you derp, you derp. Actually, it might be 10 seconds. What is the cooldown? Let me look. That was a good test of this. Okay, so the commands, derp add. It's a 60-second cooldown. There it is. Nice. All right, let's change it to 10 seconds. That way, at least the animations won't overlap. And I don't know. My mods like to, you know, they like to abuse these things. Okay, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Everyone came in and I'm just doing, you know, moderator stuff. Is that a Dan noise? Yes. What do you mean you don't see how many derps I've done? I can add a thing in the chat too. I just haven't done that yet. But here, check this out. Let's see. I'll do my own derp. Oh, here's the other animation. Probably get real mods, says Shipwreck. And I'll remove that derp. Look at that. It's just right there on screen. It's so as you're doing mod things while talking to 3 mods. Hey, I'm a real mod. Supreme Doom. Yeah, Supreme Doom is my real mod. My only real mod, probably. I don't know. Okay, let's add a maneuver. let's decide when to raise our orbit to meet the space station. Okay, that's pretty good right there. There's our intersect. So if we change when we raise this, we actually want to add several orbits, don't we? So let's do this. Oh, come on. Come on, Kerbal Space Program user interface. Don't be the worst. I know, I'm asking way too much of the Kerbal Space Program user interface to not be the worst. There we go. Okay. Let's remove an orbit from that. Oh my goodness. Kerbal Space Program, you're killing me as usual. There it is. Okay. And if we come around to here, when we do the maneuver right here, it looks like is the closest. There we go. All right, and let's tweak it just a little bit. If you can see these numbers here, our separation at our closest approach to the station will be 2.4 kilometers. But if I tweak it, we can get closer. And that's about the best we can do from here. There we go. 1 kilometer. That's real good. Shipwreck says, we don't see the dirt count in chat, though. That's true. That's true. Would you like me, Shipwreck, would you like me to do that right now while streaming? Because I can do it. It's actually pretty quick, probably. I don't know. Let's see. Actions. Let's see. I can add to the derp add command. I can add... Actually, yes. Actions. Let's see. Let's add an action, and it will be in Twitch channel chat. Send message to channel. Dan has derped. He has now derped. Let's see. What is it? It is %derp underscore count percent times now, because he is perfect and great and the best looking streamer without a face cam. Let's see if that works. All right, will this work? Let's try it. Derp add. And then after the animation, it should... There it is. Let's see. Let's copy that one. Copy sub action to derp remove. And I added the derp remove command for you, Shipwreck. I did it. Let's see. And then derp remove. And then Shipwreck is adding the derp. They passed. They passed as they flew. That's the best thing. I'm broken. Let's see. Okay. Alright, let's go back to the chat. Alright, says Katie, so someday you're going to be a really big streamer because you're funny and entertaining and stream regularly. Make sure you don't forget us little guys. Who? I forgot. Sorry. I forgot. Because I'm pretty boring. No, you are not, Kaylee. Kaylee, here. You think you're a boring streamer, Kaylee, but I would not stick with your streams if you were boring me. I promise you that. I would not. Plus, you're good at the arts. Let's put up the cats. My moderator made these. My newest moderator. My modder noob. It says, I'm going to do more data pack work now that I'm awake, but I'm glad I stopped your stream so I don't waste time on stupid stuff. Guess I'll do a painting. Yeah, do a painting, and we'll talk about data pack stuff later. It's going to be interesting. Okay, it says, here's the bad part of this. I totally want to do the commands just to see the animations. I know, right? Isn't that why I put the cooldown in? But then you guys are like, no, you can't do a cooldown on your burp. That's what you guys sound like in my mind. All right, let's, we need to time warp for 3.5 hours so that we can do this tiny burn of 52 meters per second. We'll leave the cats up for this. So let's do this. We're going to warp around orbit of Kerbal. Also, Happy New Year, everyone. All right, 2.5 hours. I'm watching the little timer. It's pretty small on your screen, I'm sure. 1 hour, 30 minutes. All right, let's slow down the time warp. We don't want to fly past it. Satan with the booze Nate for the Happy New Year. Thank you, Satan. Let's turn on the booze cam. I don't have a face cam yet. I'm working on, I need to figure out a good way to mount it and set it up. And Shipwreck with the resub. There you go. There you go, Shipwreck. You found your first. You are indeed the first sub of 2023. Woo, haha. That's what he says. Thank you, Shipwreck. Delicious. Thank you, Satan. And Elric with the hydrate. Let's pepsinate for the hydrate. And let's see, what else is this? Okay, we have 26 minutes. I don't want to pass it. Let's see. Pete Beckman accurately states, that was an amazing impression of all your... Wait, hold on. I got to do it proper. That was an amazing impression of all your viewers. Was that a good Pete Beckman 84 impression? He's my brother. I can make fun of him. Kayla says, now that I'm officially a moderator and have responsibility, the new way to abuse derpad is to derpad, then derp remove, then spam it. I know, right? That's why I had a cooldown, dang it. That is an experimental command there, so I need to tweak it a little bit. I'm going to add more animations. They're going to play at random when the command is done, and I need to add another command that simply displays it. And yeah, you're right, we should have it in the chat as well, so... Katie says, I'm guessing Pete Venkman is 2 years younger than you. He's 84 years younger than me, actually. That's why he's Pete Venkman 84. The 84 is for how many years younger than me he is. Pete Venkman says, oh, gee, thanks. Now everyone knows what I sound like. I know, right? Okay, we got 25 minutes before we need to do this burn. So, and yeah, it's right around here. So now let's time warp a little bit. Here's our ship in orbit, the Pork 6. Pork stands for Personnel Orbital Rescue Craft. Ghostbusters came out in 84, says Pete Venkman. So you're like, 100? Not me. I need to add some Kerbal Space Program animations too. I've only done this in Minecraft so far. He sounds like Bill Murray, says Kaylee. Yeah. Is that a play on the Muppets in Space? No. But I'm not sure I've seen Muppets in Space. It's my wife who's the big Muppets fan. I'm indifferent. Don't tell her. She knows. All right. Let's get around here. It's a very tiny maneuver. We only need to change our speed by 52.4 meters per second to raise our orbit and meet the space station. Oh my gosh. We have to see it again for research purposes. Wow. You like that the derp remove is literally the animations in reverse? Oh, what have I done? I have regrets. Joke's on you. I'm amused by this too. All right, let's point prograde. I know, right? If you guys have ideas for more animations I can add, maybe I'll do a demonstration on how to do those. It's surprisingly easy with Replay Mod, Chroma Key, and OBS. All right, here we go. And I'm also planning an idea where we can maybe put sunglasses on those cats, like Shipwreck does. Okay, here we go. We're coming up on the maneuver node in 1 minute and 10 seconds. $40 seconds. It's a 6-second burn at full thrust. We're not going to do full thrust. We need more precision than that, so we're going to start a little bit early. Shipwreck says, yes, please. Supreme and I vote yes. Tell you what, I'll show you. I need to make some more Shipwreck commands and some Supreme Doom commands. I need to make a better Kaylee command. But let me tell you, I'm loving StreamerBot. I'm going to replace all my bots with StreamerBot, I think. You can even do this with the FossaBot stuff with the auto shoutout. There's all sorts of really cool stuff you can do with it. I'm loving it. Okay, there is our maneuver. We're going to pass 1.2 kilometers away from the space station, which is pretty good. And we're going to arrive at the space station in 17 minutes, so let's speed up the game. Let's time warp. And Katie says, Dan, I met a really smushy orange creamsicle cat this weekend. Belongs to a friend of mine, and he likes to climb up on you and nuzzle you with his face until you have more fur than him. Nice. Oh man, my family was over. Let's go to retrograde. Yeah, my family was over, and Shadow, the black one that you can see on the screen there, gets some serious... He's very territorial, and he's very loyal to my wife. He has chosen her as his human, period. And he does not like my parents. And the chaos of my brother's kids. So he, whenever they come over, he tries to be our guard dog, basically, and tries to chase them off. And I have to intervene every time. Whereas Crookshanks will just walk up to anyone and say, hey, will you pet me? Because I like that. Crookshanks is the orange one you see on the far right of the screen. All right, let's get out of map view. There's our ship. That's the Pork 6 Personnel Orbital Rescue Craft. Let's look at our target. We're 6.5 kilometers away from Arcadia Station. Let's go to target view, point retrograde, and turn around. And we're going to adjust our trajectory so that we can slow down and also tighten our approach. These little numbers right here represent how close we're going to pass to the target, and that's not actually helping too much, so let's just point directly retrograde. There we go, now they're going down. 1.2 kilometers. I'm gonna burn until this stops going down. And it just stopped going down, 917 meters. All right. Let's get closer. Those of you who haven't been here before, you're gonna watch a pro dock in orbit of Kerbal. Absolute pro. That's me. All right, let's tighten the approach and slow down some more. We're 1.8 kilometers away. Okay. It says that we widened the approach, but I am dubious. Let's see. We've got a poll. Shipwreck has made a poll. Should Dan do an animation tutorial stream? And the options are, of course. Yes, please. I'm down with that. Animation go! And no. I'll vote that I'm down with that. I didn't make it. Oh. And there's a shout out for Final Agent Fuzzy. Who's Final Agent Fuzzy? I don't know. Oh, who made the poll? It's a good poll. Druge said, oh wait, let's hold on. We need to slow down. And park, and then I will read Druge's comment. Okay, our relative speed to our target is 0, which means that we have matched orbits. Okay, let's see. Drew says, so I was in the other room, headphones on, monitor in view, building a fire, and if there was a camera on me, anyone watching would think I was losing my mind. I was laughing out loud at those derp animations. Nice. The sounds are as funny as the animations. Oh, nice. The sounds were fun. I did those in like one take. It says, I want all those options. Including no. That'd be me, but it was Chip's idea for a poll. Oh, okay. I see how it is. I'm laughing at them. Okay, Druge. It would have been the same for me while I was making those. Just sitting in my office alone and going into the camera, or looking at my mic and going. All right, we need to point ourselves. We're looking through the docking port camera on the front of the ship. And let's see, there is Arcadia Station 690 meters away. All right, so we need to point at it and turn on. Let's look at our fuel reserves. We're doing well on our maneuvering thruster fuel. Let's turn those on. And let's see, let's go to, there we go. Let's line up our approach. Okay. So she can picture it. And the shipwreck is threatening. There's the Supreme Doom token. Here I am being Scar, the token of undying. She says the oh, it's hilarious. I thought about just adding like the oof, and I'm like, no, I can do it. Jeez. Your turn, Kaylee. Oh wow, that's rude, Shipwreck. I don't have a Kaylee one made yet. There will be one. Wow. Wow, that was brutal, Shipwreck. Brutally rude. Okay, Kaylee, you may not be on First Craft, but you're my mod, so you get one of those animations soon. If says Kaylee nailed it. Dan recorded those sounds when he was 8. I must have missed a comment. Oh, wow. All right, so here we are. We're approaching the station. We're going to dock at this docking port here, so let me set that as the target with a double click. You wrote that. Katie's Crookshank's pooping. I don't know about that. I deal with enough times that Crookshanks poops. Thank you very much. We were talking about that last stream. I had to clean up a closet that he apparently decided was his special place. Mostly my wife cleaned up a closet because she was looking for stuff in there, but I helped. Oh boy. All right, hold on. I need to make this approach and then catch up with the chat. All right, here we go. Approaching the docking port. I'm flying mostly by the instruments. I'm watching this here to make sure we're pointed at it, but also I'm watching the nav ball here. Much more important than the actual screen, because that shows the position of the front of our craft, the target, and also the direction we're moving, all at the same time. All right, final approach. And apparently there's a final result on the poll too. I see that in the corner of my eye. All right, hold on. Hold on. Come on, magnets, do your magic. Magnets, I say. There we go. We are docked, and of course it's nighttime because it always is. But there's our station with 3 spacecraft docked to it. All right, let's. Oh, there's a shout out for the Princess Me. That's my wife. We were hoping to do. She was hoping to do a stream this week, but was not feeling well, unfortunately. But there will be more streams this year for sure from her. She does sewing streams, and I'm trying to convince her to do a Minecraft stream. Let's see. Let's see, what was Supreme, right? Oh, Dan still plays with cards like that. Yep, exactly. I still do. Vroom, vroom. I play with my kids and their cars like that. And Kaylee asking, have you probed Uranus? We don't need to probe it. We just need to go rescue Uranus Kerman. So, yeah. And also saying, it's even funnier to think of a 40-year-old man sitting in his office making those vroom noises. I know, right? Oh man, I need to have a face cam for doing that stream. Okay, so Supreme Doom says, I was talking about you in my stream today, Dan. I talked about your Vault Hunters coming up. Shh, secret. In your amazing streams, and you have an even more amazing wife. I mean, more or less correct. Yes, she's pretty great. So let's see. Okay, this is approaching by instruments. You are IFR. Oh, Supreme Doom says, you want to hear something funny? Ship has to work tomorrow and I don't. Oh, nice. Watermelon dress, says Shipwreck. Later, jeez. Sid says, love onomatopoeias. Shipwreck, I'm still waiting for some feedback from you in the Discord. VFR and IFR, I do know about those, but I can't recall off the top of my head right now the acronyms, but yeah. Okay, all right, but we're here, we're safely docked, let's see, thanks to you guys being distracting in the chat, which is excellent actually. That took longer than it should have. But it's okay. All right, so here's what we should do with the last little bit. We have scientific experiments we need to return to Kerbin. I can speak. I know words. I know what words are. Let's take the cats out of the way. There we go. And we have 2 Kerbals that were redeemed by viewers for rescues that we need to return. So let's start by taking our new one. It was Raylan, redeemed by Nutric. There's Raylan. So transfer crew. And transfer to this pod right over here, which is our return pod. And Elric redeemed Boozinate. Okay, all Boozinate. Here we go. This is the end of this booze. The end of this booze-a-haul. Which makes that the final Boozinate of the stream. Let's go pause that. There we go. Sorry, Shipwreck. Okay. Let's see. And let's catch up. Supreme says, I just love saying onomatopoeia. Satan. Yes, exactly. VFR is visual flight rules and IFR is instrument flight rules. Yes, that's correct. Yep. You have to announce to Tower which you're using so they know it. Yep, it makes sense. And I use both simultaneously, but the instrument flight rules are much more important in space. And we've got Elric redeeming a hydrate as well, I think. No, it was just the Boozinate. There we go. I've scrolled too far back. That's what. And Shipwreck saying, B-Monk, it's like 1 a.m. there. Words are hard, Dan. I'm not the first to say it. Can't claim credit. Diehard supporter for us. Indeed. Thank you, B-Monk. And Shipwreck says, also, know what I notice? If I don't redeem Boozinate, nobody dilutes the Boozination. Not true, Shipwreck, because typically, both Satan and especially Elric, if they redeem Boozinate, they immediately redeem the Hydrate too. Alright, so here's what we need to do. We already transferred... okay, we have Uma aboard. That's a rescue we did a couple weeks ago. That was Satan's redeem, Uma Kerman, and Raylan Kerman. And there's Supreme Doom diluting the Hydrate. Diluting the Boozinate. Let's see, ban Satan and Elric. Rude. Let's Pepsinate. I need to finish this Pepsi. Pete Vegman says, Hydrate is out of stock, allegedly. Yeah, because Supreme Doom beat you to it. Drew says, I have a Rular mug that says words are hard. Nice. It's 0.45 a.m. In the true time zone, it's 4:45 p.m. But we also need to retrieve some scientific experiments. So this might be a little bit tricky. So let's see. We have over here in the Mark 1-3 command pod, we have Uma and Raylan who need to come home. We need to get Bo on EVA. Extravehicular activity is what that means. Turn on your helmet light. And let's see, what information do you have? Nothing really, so let's see. Take data. Now you have data. What have you got? Review stored data. You have service sample from Minmus Highlands, and you have an EVA report from space just above Minmus Highlands. But that is not all that we need. We're going to keep those experiments, of course. Let's turn on the EVA maneuvering thrusters. And I've got some heresies in chat. Shipwreck says, Coke is better than Pepsi, just saying. Ban Shipwreck. There we go. And Katie's saying, Diet Pepsi is a whole lot better than Diet Coke. Well, you're comparing garbage and garbage there, so... Oh no, Satan agreeing with my wife that Dr. Pepper is better than all. Dr. Pepper is disgusting. It's so gross. I hate it. I can't drink Dr. Pepper. It's so gross. It's my wife's preferred beverage, though. She drinks Diet Dr. Pepper. And because I'm a terrible enabler, I buy it for her with her own money since she's the wage earner in this household. All right, let's see. We need to take the data from... Okay, collect data from the Science Junior. We don't need to take that data. Okay, take data from the seismic accelerometer. And that is... Wait, there's one more. We need to take data from the mystery goo containment unit. Look at that view, though. We got such a view while we're doing this. And then I'm going to catch up on chat again. You guys. Now you guys are going to troll me about Dr. Pepper, aren't you? Okay, we need to clip the camera in here. There we go. Collect data. Okay. And restore. Might as well while we're here, right? Oh, we're too far away. Okay. Oh, it is restored. Good, good. And let's restore that. Perfect. And let's see. Chat. Okay. Ginger ale forever, says Shipwreck. Ginger ale's good, especially in a Moscow Mule. And Katie says, I have a hilarious cringe story about Diet Coke. I want to hear it. She says, I was at a class with a bunch of people and they brought in a bunch of Diet Cokes and some Coke Zero Sugar. Well, all the Diet Cokes were taken, so I picked the Coke Zero Sugar. It tastes like butt. Accurate. So I asked the lady to bring some more real Diet Cokes instead of Coke Zero Sugar, and she was staring blankly at me like I was a Karen. Like a Kraken. So I repeated myself. Made me more a Kraken than I was. That's hilarious. It all tastes like butt. Shipwreck says, Supreme says, Mountain Dew, but ignore her. Mountain Dew is not great, but at least it's not the disgustingness of Dr. Pepper. Gugh. Drew says, Coke, Pepsi, ginger ale, etc. They're all just blank pages for whiskey, vodka, and or rum, am I right? Ginger ale plus whiskey. There you go. Whiskey and cranberry is good. I like a good old Washington apple with apple schnapps, cranberry juice, and some Canadian whiskey. But Diet anything is gross. Also, I can't drink Diet anything. It hurts my stomach because of how gross it is. Ugh. But if I'm drinking soda, it's usually Pepsi. or Sprite Cranberry. I love the Sprite Cranberry. That stuff is super good. I'm sad that I haven't seen it in so long. All right, here we go. Board our return craft, and then we're going to return this scientific data as the way to close this stream. Here we go. And board, grab, and board. There we go. Because this Pepsi has the same thing going now. A Diet Pepsi is fine. No, it isn't. But whatever they're doing with Pepsi Zero Sugar also tastes like butt. Shay, welcome. How are you doing, Shay? Happy New Year. Okay, so here we are. We've got scientific data aboard this craft, and we have 2 rescued Kerbals. We have 1 more seat, but that's okay. We're going to return them. And these are all empty, so we need to bring them home. That has some fuel. That is fine. Okay, let's undock from here, and let's drop this into Kerbin's atmosphere to be destroyed. Undock. And here we are, so we need to push off. There we go. Let's we've got our fuel monitor up. We don't have a ton of monopropellant, but we don't need a lot of monopropellant. We're just going to deorbit from low orbit. So, Shay, you came just as my I thought friends are trying to trigger me with their incorrect opinions about soda. Anyway, the right drink is an IPA. India Pale Ale. Trumps all drinks. Period. Well, coffee, but... Drew says, I think the artificial sweeteners are as bad or worse than the sugar itself. I can't really sort out the science on that. It's all contradictory, but what I do know objectively from personal experience, and this is backed up by other studies, is that my body cannot tolerate the artificial sweeteners. It's not that they are processed like sugars or anything, it's that they dehydrate me very badly. I was drinking those, I found some artificial sweetened 0-calorie drinks that I liked. Is that Ice brand flavored sparkling water. Really delicious. And it was actually dehydrating me, and I was getting incredibly sick. I cannot drink it. No matter how good it tastes, I cannot drink it. It's not that it's being processed like sugar by my body. It's not making me fat or anything like that. It would just dehydrate me, and I would just lay in bed with pounding headaches and completely unable to function. Super gross. Elric says, everything tastes like septic water except Coke. Coke is not great. Ew. Just had to say it. Sorry, Elric. All right, let's drop our periapsis to 32 kilometers. That works very well for us. And let's move to the side so that this is in a different trajectory. And let's undock and get rid of that. And let's also get rid of this service module. Goodbye. And now we point retrograde. And let's get those. They won't hit us. Fantastic. And they will burn up in Kerbin's atmosphere. And here we go, re-entering. Drew says, sparkling ice. Yes, those taste good, but I can't get them near me anymore. Yep. So I drink water or iced tea. Yep. If I do drink soda, I usually drink Pepsi. But I try to watch my carb intake because I'm trying to watch my weight a little bit. But it's not a dire thing, but I'm just trying to watch it and eat healthy. And I like to reserve those calories for my booze-a-haul, so... But yeah, Pepsi's delicious, IPA is delicious, coffee is delicious. But yeah, the sparkling ice, it tastes good. It's one of the few sugar-free drinks that I really like, but I can't drink it. I literally cannot drink it anymore. Let's see. Satan says, I don't like that you can clean your car battery or toilet with a can of Coke. Yeah, but you can clean things with water too. It's not the same, I know, but that's not the real problem. The real problem, as far as bone health goes, is the carbonation, and that's the same with the sparkling water. Like, just sparkling water has carbonation, and that becomes carbonic acid in your blood, and that's bad for your teeth and your bones. So, and that has nothing to do with the sugar. And B-Munch says, good night, B-Monk. It still looks like B-Munch to me, but I'm trying to remember to say B-Monk. Code Red says, Beat Bagman, no, gross. Says, I fasted on soda for a couple of years when I needed to get in shape. Yep. Oh man, I'm trying to get my my daily step count back up and go on hikes again. I haven't been on a proper hike in like 2 years now, and I'm sad about it. I used to go on all sorts of hikes all the time, so that's one of my New Year's resolutions is to go on more hikes and get in better shape that way. It'll help my back too. My back's doing all right now, but yeah, last year shoveling the walk, I've had issues with a pinched sciatic nerve ever since, and that is terrible. Andrew says, I am in shape. Round is a shape. Yes, it is. It's like, why have a six-pack when you can have a whole keg, right? Homes are very good, says Pete Begman, and then corrects himself to hikes. Sorry, homes are very good. Actually, I should do my my David Lynch. Homes are very good. Stupid autocorrect. Listen, we're going to go ahead and re-enter Kerbin's atmosphere. It's very dangerous, but we have to do it. It's not my best David Lynch, but it's okay. All right, here we are on re-entry. Let's have fun with the camera. Auto flyby, target self. Here we go. Here are our New Year's fireworks. How about that? We got Uma, Raylan, and Bo coming home. We're going to need to send more scientists up on the next flight, but that's okay. They have all done good work. We're slowing down. We can close the landing info window. We're not using that anymore. Oh, I heard an explosion from one of the things we're disposing in Kerbin's atmosphere. Can we see them from here? Yeah, look at that. Look at those fire trails over there. One of those. Yeah, one of those is the RCS fuel tanks that are empty now, and the other one is the service module for this ship. Putting on quite a show for the people down below. There's that sonic boom. All right, I have a confession to make, Supreme Doom. If you were still streaming, I was going to raid you. But clearly you're not, since you came in and raided me. Thank you very much for that raid again. All right, now that we are through the dangerous part of re-entry, we can speed the game up. And of course, we're coming down at night. It's tradition. We come down where you guys can't even see it. Kaylee says, let me go live, quick. If you're serious about that, then yeah. Absolutely. But I don't know if she's just joking about that or not. But whether she goes, no, I am not, we need to talk data packs. I thought so, okay. But you should totally follow Kaylee anyway. All right, we're at 2 kilometers above the ground. Deploy the parachutes. And they will fully deploy automatically at 1 kilometer. There they go. Everyone got pulled back hard in their seats at about 12 Gs. All right, and now for the final bit of descent, let's go ahead and speed the game up a little bit. And we're going to splash down at night in Kerbin's oceans. 400 meters above the surface. $200 meters. All right, let's slow back down to real time for the last 50 meters of descent. And splashdown. Uma Kerman, Raylan Kerman, and Bo Kerman are home safely. Let's recover the vessel. Let's see how much scientific data we got. See if we can unlock any juicy technologies for the next stream. It's loading, it's loading. And I think if I have some time between streams, I might send something for Kefri Bezos to continue his sentence of community service and cleaning up low Kerbin orbit, because we still have a lot of debris, and cleaning that up will improve our load times. Oh, look at that. 355.5 science earned. We have 703 science. Let's go spend that. Also, let's see. Contract parameter complete. We have saved Raylan Kerman. And they're now part of the crew. We have saved Uma Kerman. All right. Yeah, let's look at our tech. And we can go for the one we were talking about at the beginning, Advanced Science Tech. It costs 550. It gives us our drilling arms and our refining units, so we can send landers to other planets and moons and drill for ores and refine them into fuel and make fuel depots elsewhere. We also get this GravMax negative gravioli detector. That's my favorite fake science particle that this game is made of, is the gravioli instead of graviton. So a new science experiment and a new surface science experiment, the ionographer. So this is great. I think maybe I was thinking of this that we were going to unlock. Let's research that. And now we only have 153 science left, so we can't unlock anything more, but that is incredible. This was a very good, very productive first stream of the year. And let's see, Drew says, good job. Thank you, Drew. Gives us, he will never work off his debt for killing good Kaylee. I know, right? It was just Kaylee, not evil Kaylee, right? And Pete Beckman says, my son disapproves of your nighttime splashdown. Well, that's how we do. Drew says, night splashdown is necessary to keep secret all the backbook space programs that Dan is doing. Yeah, no. Exactly. We have secrets. Black book, there it is. Seriously, I can type sometimes. Me too, sometimes. All right, let's see. I probably want to pull up on my phone the Twitch app because I get a better list of who's online there. Who is on? Let's see. We've got Griffin is online and is doing Sky Station work. We do often raid Griffin Prime after a space stream. And Kayla says, for some reason I can only read Black Book as Black Bonk, and none of the statements makes any sense to me. Yeah, all that Black Bonk stuff. All right, let's go ahead and raid Griffin. He's a good friend. No one that I know is playing Kerbal Space Program right now, and he's making a space station in Minecraft, which is super cool. So let's see. Griffin Prime playing Minecraft, working on his Sky Station base on Halcyon Heights. So we're going to start the raid. Here is the raid message. If you're subscribed, copy the whole thing. Otherwise, copy just the part in between where it says Dan Bear for Totem. And yeah, we got a new series that, if all works out, will be starting on Wednesday. For whatever Wednesday, we're going to be doing Vault Hunters. I have given in to peer pressure. Satan, Shipwreck, and I are going to be doing Vault Hunters. And let's see. So then we're going to, if this is the Dune universe, it could be a spice station. That's true, Satan. And next week we'll do more Kerbal Space Program, and tomorrow we're going to be doing some Minecraft. So I'll see you guys then. Goodbye!